Cut the guesswork. Real-time spend models that pay off for both sides.
So, I don't have much time, unfortunately. Hi, guys. I have only 10 to 15 minutes, so I'm going to be long story shorted as far as possible. And at least dig you into a pretty interesting topic about one of the solutions right now in the market to working at least properly in stability with social traffic mostly, which is Facebook. So a little bit introduction about myself before we started. So my name is Yaroslav from ZM team. We the kind of huge media buying team. At least 80% of our traffic right now is social traffic, which is mostly Facebook for applications, ACO as well. But we also have a search type of traffic sources like CEO, PPC traffic. Also, we have two white label brands, which is casinos by different B2B solutions. So we had a big experience from both sides, not only from affiliate sites, for operators as well. So the main topic today is a real-time spend model, and it's one of the key worked solution right now to working properly with social traffic, because right now it's not the best time, unfortunately, with working by CPA. I know exactly how many media buying teams right now struggled to rise in the KPIs to get the whole payouts, because sometimes we have a big problem with the halt, with the cut of the traffic in terms of the quality, actually. So it's not a new solution. It's something which has started to be popular from the last year, but still right now almost all operators work by this way. Firstly, before we started, a little bit introduction about why we want to discuss this topic from the scratch. So market, for my opinion, keeps evolving, and for the last year, I'm feeling like the market evolving much faster than the last 5 years. So many changes right now being in the market. So I mean, like a lot of inside KPIs, the fraudulent reports, the new technology issues to checking the quality of the traffic, to predict the traffic. Media buyers from their side create the BI analytics. This is what we do for the last year. We create the BI analytics to qualify all metrics for all products which we drive it by API to create a API prediction to quality of your traffic for the next 3 to 6 months. And even in scenario when the two sides of this iGaming river, I mean like operators and affiliates, even in scenario when we build a castle of the businesses with business processes, with the good margins, with a lot of employees, we still struggle sometimes to find out the win-win partnerships. So unfortunately, it still remains a big challenge for both sides. So what we should do with that? Before we started, like this river of iGaming, for my opinion, have the two biggest sides, it's operators and affiliates. What changes for the last year from both of these sides? For my opinion, from my perspective, operators wants always to buy in just a quality traffic, which is logically, but mostly it's but the fixed and unfortunately low payouts sometimes. Also, not all of them, but a lot of operators sometimes just ignore retention gaps, shift blame to sources. It's really important to feel the different type of traffic sources have the different evaluation formula. So you cannot just judge the different type of traffic sources by the same formulas, by the same metrics, same KPIs, same percentage of OAS, and something like that. Also applied, as I said previously, unified evaluation formula. For affiliates, we just try pushing ROI in the overheaded geos, focus on low cost, margin, quality secondary. And if you check all of these topics, unfortunately, bottom line for the last year, it's sometimes we just lose the profit. And I'm not talking about somebody just lose their money or lose their margins. It's mostly about we just lose the opportunities sometimes. So we can grow in more, but we just lose these opportunities. And usually, for media buyers, operators prefer the three scenarios, what we should do with that. Somebody asks, why you just not raising the payouts to get your margins better and just drive more traffic, do it more quality traffic. It's funny because if you're just raising your payouts, you have to raise in the KPIs. Because, for example, if you drive traffic to some tier 1 geos by 200 euro CPA part, and you're just expecting to earn more money and asking the operators to just rise into 250, for example, after the next month, your KPI is going down, and you just have to wait the 1 month more with the hold. So raising the payouts is not the best way to beat the problem right now. Revenue share is almost impossible to the big traffic sources, because in good month, my company, we just spent approximately from $5 to $8 million per month just spent of the traffic. So we cannot freeze this money for 3 months, to just waiting the revenue share is going good. So it's almost impossible. So spend model is my opinion right now. It's not the best solution, but this is a solution what we test a lot and we're truly sure is work correctly. Why it's important for operators? In my opinion, firstly, is control the data, because in this case, in this scenario, operators always had full information about the traffic, which applications they use, what about the funnels, what about the creative design, what about audience, ages of audience, type of male or female, all of information about their interests. So mostly, in this case, operators buying it's like renting media buying. You just take it for the rent because you're paying for whole information by the budget. Also, the cheap failure, because believe me, spend model is always way cheaper than the CPA part. Because in terms of the ladder system, ladder of the commission system for media buyers, you always can, if the traffic is not good, you just cannot pay the commission and cover only the spend. So it's always much more cheaper. And also shared focus on quality, because what does media buying mean? Media buyer is the guy who tried to buy less and sold more. In this case, it's almost impossible in spend model, because if in a spend model, media buyers try to get more players for a cheap price, it's the same CPI, it's not worth it that. In spend model, media buyers try to get less players, but really high expensive players. Sometimes in tier 1 geos, one expensive player can cost for us like 500, 600 euros. It's impossible to get this CPA, this so big CPA for these geos. But for a spend model, it's okay, because you focus it not on the price of the player, you focus it only for OAS. So you focus it on the in-jar, OAS optimization. You should work only with the numbers and the quality numbers of operators. So you think like operator. And this is why it worked correctly for both sides. But what about the affiliates? Mostly it's stability, because you almost don't have some cuts on frauds or some judging your traffic is bad, because you do it from both sides at the same time. The operators check all of you do. He check the statistics, check the numbers. You do it every day, because media buyers should cover the whole information day by day about what exactly they do, how much they spend, because budget from advertisers. This is not him budget, so he has to be sure about that. Also focus, as I said, from the cheap to effective in more budget, more data, and more tests. So commission ladder, as I think, is the best practice right now, because in the different scenarios, when the traffic is bad, you just don't pay commission. If the traffic is really good, significantly good, much more than you expected, you have to pay more. So it's a good scenario for both sides, and you can control it, because you have the numbers, statistics, and BI analytics every day to check the numbers. So I should, before I show you a few examples how we work, it's a little bit the list of the products which already work by the spend model. I have to mention this is not all our revenue, it's just only about the spend model, so it's not even close to our revenue. But still, ZM team, we always open to show real numbers or show the real statistic, how exactly it works. We don't create the castle in the sky. So this is the real numbers, what we do in the last year and this year. And believe me, in the last year, this list of the products be only 5. Because almost all operators saying like, you idiots, guys, it's not work like that. Believe me, it's not going to work. And this year, you can speak with all operators right now in the conference. Believe me, all of that working by the spend model. Because now it's more stability, much more. Unfortunately, the cost from the both sides and margin from the both sides in this year going down. So we should something do with that. And the best way, it's spend more for more expensive players, and get less players, but get stability and get the good turnover month to month. So what about examples? This is one of examples how we work. I don't have much time to give you whole information about this specific case, but I prefer to you mention the KPIs, the numbers, how it works. important thing, this KPIs percentage is only about inside the first month when we just only started. For usual Facebook CPA deals, it's almost impossible to get even 100%. It's almost impossible. But still, you have to check how much we spend, so how much we pay for the traffic. What about our percentage, so our commission, and the ladders, how exactly we calculate the commission percent. So after we finish the first month and second month of this traffic, we start to calculate it, how exactly it's evolving and what exactly it's do for the product for the next month and 2 months ahead. And we had statistic too. So if you check these numbers, you can find out after the total 2 months, we have the KPI plus commission. So it's not only KPI of the spend, 95%. It's believe me, it's really hard to find the case right now to Facebook traffic get this percentage after 2 months. It's almost impossible. But if you check the FTDs and the number of the players, it's not super big. So you can easily bring much more players. But for what? For just creating the big revenue and unfortunately not create the good commission and good marketing spend returns for the product. So you can ask me, what kind of traffic is it? Because usually, operators prefer the model when the slots-based approach is good, crush-based approaches is bad. But unfortunately, we checked that, and believe me, slot-based approach is not much so good like it's expensive. So you have to, sometimes, you have to spend like 3 times more than you usually do, but the quality is only maximum too much more than you expected. So the best way is find out the percentage of mixed traffic between the casual one and spend one, like slot one, for your product. In my perspective, my experience tell me the best percentage right now is 70% to 30%. So if you work by spend model, you're expecting 70% of expensive slot-based approaches and 30% to some cheap one to just find out the middle position between the price and evaluation. Yeah. So yeah, it's just a bottom line, if you don't mind. It's just a bottom line. So today we must react faster than before because, as I said on the first screen, unfortunately, market is changing really fast right now. And the approaches, for example, like a Plinko, which has worked almost 2 years in the last year. Right now, the new approaches work maximum 3 months. So you just technically cannot work only with the CEO traffic because they're not growing your audience. You just technically cannot work only with the social traffic because, unfortunately, quality is not so best. And this is why I'm always trying to find out and negotiate between the two sides and find out the best solution. And from my opinion, right now, the spend model is a good solution to at least start to think the same metrics from affiliates and operators as well. I guess that's it. If you have some question, if you're open to new opportunities, new collaboration, you always can find out me on a conference or just scan this QR code and add to our Telegram chat, and we can speak about that later. So I'm reaching 3 minutes. Sorry for that, but I'm trying my best, really. Thank you so much, guys. Have a good conference. See ya.